Welcome, welcome. This is the Fight for Resistance podcast with Uncle Fox. This podcast show is going to focus on sacred sites, protecting land and water, a lot of things that goes on right now. One of the things that we're going to focus on this show for me would be Oak Flat, and that's in Arizona. My daughter, she had her dance there in 2019, her coming of age ceremony, and it's near Superior, Arizona. If anybody doesn't know, this fight's been going on for a while. It's been going on. It started in just to do a background, and this is just off the top of my head. From what I know, it started in 2014. A while back, before that, it was just a bill for a land exchange to give to Rio Tinto, a company from Australia, to swap land, and the bill couldn't pass through Congress on its own. So in 2014, uh, they put this bill, a defense bill, they had put it in the back of the defense bill. So I guess this is what I hear. This is what happens. How things get passed in Congress is, a lot of times they get a bill which is like 300 pages, and people will just slip stuff in there before they vote. And this is how things get passed. And so this is one of the reasons why the land exchange was passed, the bill. It went through, and now they're going to swap. They swapped lands. Now they want to mine for copper at Oak Flat. Now, what it does is that, I mean, if you know the history of Oak Flat and what my uncle and the Apache Stronghold are fighting for, a religious site and sacred site, and if you don't want to believe all that, one thing you've really got to understand is that it's going to create a big sinkhole about 2 miles in width, and it's just going to destroy all that land above Superior. I mean, come on. To me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you're going to pollute the water. It's going to use all the water there. It's going to sink in everything there. You're going to lose your campground, all the canyons. I mean, everything. I mean, just on that alone, and not digging into what we're fighting for our sacred land, for religious beliefs. But if you could just understand what it's going to do to the land, it's common sense not to do it, to do the mining. But when it comes to money, and then when it comes to big money and corporations, sometimes people just turn the other way. And and no matter, you could go on and on about what it's going to do to the land, what it's going to do to pollute your water, and and things like that. People still don't, they still don't see that. The senators or the congressmen or people in office don't see that. They just see the money, and they see the copper and how much it's going to bring. And the copper is not even for us. It's not even for the United States. So that's another. It's just, if you want to just look at it from outside looking in, you're gonna be like, why are they letting them mine? But again, it's what they do behind the doors that we're trying to stop. You got so many people in office, big names in office, that are involved, that are getting money from this copper mine, that's getting money from Russian Copper, Rio Tinto. So that's why this mining keeps continuing. Even Superior, I mean, the mayor there, I think, from what I hear, is all for the mining. Now, if you ever went through Superior right now, it's a ghost town from the mining before. So it's not going to last long again. Now, they just want to run through it all over again and do the same thing again. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, just from a normal person or someone that doesn't know what's going on, if you give them those facts right there alone, you're gonna say, okay, why in the hell are we mining Oak Flat? So my uncle has been leading the fight for Oak Flat, and and from my point of view, my uncle was getting a lot of slack for not just him, but so many people. I mean, even today, oh, that's not Apache land. That's not on the reservation. Why are they fighting for it? Come on. I mean, you don't know the history. You don't know how much land we had before reservations. We went all the way from the Pinal Mountains to White Mountain to Mount Graham, all the way down to Mexico. I mean that to New Mexico. That's all Apache land, and we got put on contaminated land, which is now St. Carlos. So when people say, "Oh, that's not sacred. That's not Apache," what are you talking about? It's the same thing as here where I live right now um, in the valley. A lot of people don't know Salt River had all of Phoenix. It just we had all this land. So when people say, that's not on Apache land, come on, you don't know your history. It just doesn't make sense. And for me, knowing about Oak Flat, you get a lot of outside people that say, "Oh, well, you never said it was sacred before." Well, we were trying to hide it this whole time. You know what? Today, if I were to tell you that a mountain over here on the south side is sacred to Apache or any other tribe, you know what's going to happen? They're going to check to see if they can mine it. Why is it sacred? Well, let's go see. We cover it up as for long as we can, but with scientists and all this equipment, they found it. Darn it! Now we got to step up and say, hey, you can't you can't mine here, and that's when they get all bent out of shape. So that's what's going on right now with Oak Flat, and we've had ceremonies there. My goddaughter, my niece, my daughter, a couple of my relatives had dances there, and it's a beautiful place. Just the weather there and the spring, and when you get there on that land, you're gonna know why it's sacred. You don't even have to be Apache, native, non-natives will know when they get on that area. They're gonna know that place is special. And a lot of times when we go there, there's a lot of campers there, non-natives. They camp there. They have campfires there. They have little social events there. Some of them don't even realize that this whole area is gonna be gone. And we walk around and try and tell them and let them know what's going on. And a lot of them, want to help. And that's what we're going through right now. We have my uncle, my cousin. They do the yearly Oak Flat Run to help to bring awareness to everyone about Oak Flat. So that goes on every year, and that goes really well. It's just something that we're trying to hold on to, and even like I said, even if you're non-native and you don't believe in spirituality and you don't believe in sacredness or the religion of the Apache people or our freedom of religion, you've got to understand the impact of whatever it's going to do. And especially if you live in that area, the jobs are not going to be that much. They're going to give it to qualified people. And it's not like the old mines. I mean, they're gonna put a big crater in there. a large sinkhole, I mean, they're gonna do it a different way. So, how many people you think they really need? And when it's going on, do you want your if you have family there, do you want them drinking the water? So a lot of things like that for me, I don't understand why it keeps continuing. Now, when I explain it to my friends, and I have a lot of non-native friends, and I tell them about Oak Flat, they can't believe it. Like, what? Well, why are they mining? Well, they see the money, and there's only certain people that are for it, and those certain people are pretty high up, and we're trying to stop them. So this goes on. This has been going on for a while. I know everybody sees John McCain and this is hero, and he tried to do some good toward the end of his career, but he's the one that started this thing. So that's how far it's been with this copper mine, and it doesn't make sense because sometimes even I tell my uncle, and I'll say, look, my son works as an electrician, and he comes home with copper wire up the yin yang that he's going to recycle because they have all this. They cut wire there, and they have a bunch of scrap copper wire, and all he does is just recycle it and get money for it. Like, we've got so much recycled copper. Why are we mining copper again? And like I said before, this copper, from what I hear, is not for the United States. Well, and they look at it like, well, you need copper for your phones, electric cars, and all this other stuff that we're gonna do, just to get away from gas. You know how many phones get turned in a year? You know how much recycled copper we have? It's unbelievable when you look at what it's gonna do to the land. Now you could go through the environmental impact statement. You could go through all the reasons why for the Apaches, for the Native Americans, because these are the sacred sites we're always fighting for. I mean, Oak Flat is not the only one that people are fighting for. I mean, we're fighting for like lithium mines against lithium mines. That's all over that's uranium mining, oil pipeline, all this stuff that we are fighting for. They're just desecrating, you know, our lands. And that's the fight is going on all four sides for Native Americans. So what I'm saying alone here of Oak Flat is just one battle that we are fighting for. But this battle right here can lead to other things if we win. So it's frustrating when you think about it. When you think about the water and land, and when we have petroglyphs in Oak Flat, from the Apaches, and that's where we get our acorn from, and all these things, and we pray there, and if you get there, you're gonna know why we pray there and why we dance there, and we do all these things and let the government know why they shouldn't do this, and it keeps getting overturned. And so, and that's the most frustrating part, because not even digging into that and realizing what it's going to do to the land, it shouldn't even happen in the first place. So my uncle and the Apache Stronghold, they are fighting every day and having meetings, and traveling to Washington and making speeches to make people aware of what's going on. and we hit every obstacle there is, and we just keep going at it. And I watch my uncle go and battle these government officials, and he doesn't stop. And hopefully, with his fight and the Apache Stronghold and all my relatives, my nieces that make these speeches, we're gonna get through, and we have to believe in that. And so um, a lot of people need to understand, the battles that we go through. All national forests or all historical sites that are protected. It's our land. It's Native American land. All these national parks was ours, but they use them as national parks, so we won't take over. We can't get that land back because it's a national park. So even with, you know, I think it was 1954, 55. Again, I'm just off the top of my head. President Eisenhower made it promise to protect Oak Flat. Yeah, overturned because, again, money. So this is what this show is going to be about. Um, Anytime we have any kind of updates that I get, I will put it on the show. And I'll have some guests on here to talk about what they're fighting for and what's going on and what's the next step. We're also going to dive into other fights that's going on for mining, you know, with uranium in mine, the lithium mine, fracking, pipelines, things like that. We're going to go through and see, let everybody be aware of what's going on, because a lot of times people on in nations on reservations don't really realize what's going on, you know. So it's just they need to know what's happening on on their land, because right now you get a lot of youth that think that San Carlos is Apache land. It's This is where we're from, Apache land. We were put on that land, but it's not ours. Now we live there, but our land is Mount Graham and Pinal Mountains and all these other areas, New Mexico, and down in Mexico, Tucson. I mean, all down that way. That's where we're from. This is what this show is going to be about. If anybody wants to get on, you can email me. All my info will be on the podcast description. We want to get anybody on here that wants to talk about it. And if I have people that work for Rio Tinto or Resolution Copper that are on the reservation, so if you work for Resolution Copper and you're from St. Carlos or you're an Apache, why don't you come on and we'll talk and let us know your side of the story. Let me know why you took the job or why you working for the mining company. I mean, we want to find out both sides of the story. So maybe you got something that I'm not seeing. We can get this message across and help not only Oak Flat but help other tribes that are fighting for their sacred sites. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. And again, Oak Flat still goes on. So if you want to know anything, please go to the description, or you could go to the Apache Stronghold website. Just on Google, just put the Apache Stronghold, and the website should come right up. And thank you very much. And just to let you know, the little intro and outro that I have here was made by my brother Bataka Brown. He makes beats and covers. So if you want to go check him out on Facebook at Westside Warrior Records, you could DM him and he could do a lot for you. He could do covers, songs, produce whatever you need. So check him out, and thank you very much. And I hope to hear from you all soon. And we'll let you know when the next podcast come up. Thank you.